Hello, this video is showing the process of how I rescored music and recreated sound design, including mixing and mastering the audio for the trailer music. Please be aware of that this video is not created as a commercial purpose. So I'm going to show you the whole trailer first and then dive into music, sound design, including mixing and mastering separately. So let's have a look.
Where is my son?
He is safe. Read.
Reality itself is fracturing. He's not just a threat to us, but to time.
We face gods, monsters, titans. But this is something else.
I offered peace. You chose resistance.
For a long time, we stayed apart. The X-Men, the Avengers. But now, we must stand together.
You see one world. I see infinite, and I will control them all.
He wants to rule everything. Then he'll have to go through all of us. We will fight for every life.
They've tried to stop me before, and they all failed.
If we want to defeat Doom, we should think like him.
Before I start, I wanted to tell you that I normally use various DAW on purpose because each DAW has different characteristics. For music, I used Logic Pro and sound design for Ableton and mixing and mastering for Pro Tools or Reaper. So first of all, I'm going to tell you how I rescore music by Logic Pro. The reason I use Logic Pro is, to be honest, it's my first DAW and it's easier for orchestral 3HD sound. Before we start, I'm going to show you only for music of this rescored trailer. When I start creating music, I normally separate like these three, like marking at some points so that aware of the conversion or like cut scenes, the main scenes. This trailer music, as you can see on this small screen, this one is intro, and when it comes by from next year scene, it's getting start from kind of development and it's getting building up, and third steps is gonna be kind of going to climax, and then at the end it's gonna be finished like this. As time goes by, each scene is getting shorter, which is like the scenes cuts are faster and the situation also getting faster. So I changed the tempo slightly so it could be not flowing naturally, but as combining with dialogues, sound effects, and they're masking the unnatural music sound in a way. And I consider each scene as well. So depending on the scenes, the tempo is also kind of change slightly, or the time signatures are changes like these, or instruments are added or removed as well. For example, this scene from the next year, I added strings, and when the third step, brass instruments are added as well. The whole atmosphere of this trailer is kind of apocalypse. So I focused on that kind of emotion to create music. Starting from piano, which is the first instrument coming out in the music. The atmosphere is personally hopeless or desperate, like when I saw the scene saying, "Where's my son?" It's emotional in a way for me. But I also wanted the theme starting at the beginning till the end. So I kept the melody keeps going till the end. So the sound goes like this. At the third phase, it's slightly different because I unison to emphasize the theme. So it goes like this. The only difference between these two phases is uh, between first and second, there's a slightly changed or like added notes to imply the other phase is coming. And I used the Logic Pro piano, which I think the sound is upgraded from the previous version. And it goes well with the emotion that I have imagined, not muddy, more clear, high frequency sound. And going to the next is the pad sound. It could be a part of sound design rather than music, but the sound itself revokes or reminds the atmosphere whenever I coming back for this music. I use atmosphere presets, this one, but I slightly changed ADSR, so these ones, because the original has longer attack, which sounds coming later, so the timing was too slow, and the long release interferes the next notes, so I shorten it and I changed the volume of these two sounds like this. So if I and the other one is so very small sound, but both are gives more kind of releasing sound. And the next is percussion. It comes from the beginning to the end, and as you can see here, including this, so put this like The first phase is kind transition mainly, for it connects with music naturally. So the sound goes like this. I'm sorry. So these are the pitch are changed depending on the music notes from the other instruments. And this one goes this kind of sound effects. This one also kind of going for transition. And to the second phase, it's more dynamic, which I thought the sounds should go well with more epic, magnificent sound. So I used these for like taiko and tom, low heats, something like that. So the only sound comes. They are combined. Third phase, less rhythmic, which emphasizes other instruments personally, and when it goes to the end, the rhythm is slightly more complex compared to second. Third from the start. Or to the end. Like this. The main difference between the first and the second phase is using strings. It starts from here, but for transition between the first and the second phase, the strings are played with two articulations, which are penderecki and cluster, which sounds like this. And the cluster is like this. So after that, since second phase, the rhythm is played a similar pattern for focusing on the dialogue rather than music, with short notes using spiccatos, which means it's shorter than the previous notes from other instruments, like this. And especially I used spiccato rather than staccato, which is sounds slightly shorter than the usual short notes, and it gives more urgent or dynamic, which is suitable for fast cut change, including fight and various the scenes showing various venues. So the sound goes like this. And when third phase is played, violas and cello are played more dynamic like these. And they give the atmosphere goes to the climax and indicates the urgent situation. To reinforce the movements of mid-range, they are played as unison in octave. Oh, sorry. So it goes like this. the same notes but in octave. As too much low frequency by double bass makes sound muddy, and the high frequency sounds like violins might interfere the dialogues or sound effects. So they are played as the similar rhythm to the second phase, like this. And when it goes to the end, the sound goes up like this. The next is the last one, brass. They are played from the third phase. It gives intense and more epic sound. Only use horns and trombones because the trumpet gives the sound brighter and tuba gives softer vibe. And as the brass leads the melody of this music, so they are played legato, like long notes, rather than staccato, like strings. Between second and third, as similar to between first and second phase as a transition. And as you can listen, in general, the instruments, except for percussion, the notes sound going up at the end here, at the end for building up the emotion. So now in mixing parts, I mostly used bus compressor on each categorized instruments such as strings, brass, there's also same, percussion as well. Yeah, to combine each category sound natural like this, for example, in the string, when it's off. This. It's very subtle, but it makes sound place on specific position, and I didn't change much. Just slightly, really slightly decrease the threshold, just mix amount. Sometimes cut high frequencies or low frequency in individual instruments like low cut for violin, high cut for low tone. But this time I didn't do it because I tried to keep the depth of analog sound so that the sound is more realistic. But EQ is used for piano, which sounds more emotional. Let's turn off. Just subtle but slightly different. And the SSL compressor gives the sound more analog warmth. And for the pad, different to other instruments, I use this one wider to extend the sound width. So if this turn off, it sounds like this. The sound on, then as you can hear, the sounds more immersive. And some instruments like a double bass is panned slightly like this, 4 points to the right. very slightly, because I think the other things are natural so far. So I just left them, and I use lots reverb, so the sound can be more immersive and realistic, played in specific venue when it sounds without. Very dry, but when with it, and I also kind of slightly adjusted probably depth and frequency, crossover, high cut, mix level, to make the sound more in real space. And I made the group and then use EQ. This full tech style EQ sounds make sounds more analog, and the Logic one is still great. So the sound goes like this. This is without, and this one is. So the low is boosted slightly, and high is decreased slightly on 6 kilohertz. Just a slightly boost as well. Percussion as well used making sound more analog. SSL as well. Yeah, going to master when you listen to without and with sounds, the sound goes like this. But with this magenta 5, this is EQ, and this one is a convolution EQ, which means it's developed from the real hardware EQ, so it gives not virtual plugin sound, but the actual particular hardware EQ color. So it makes the sound comes to the front. Imagine like 3D, the sound comes front. Some important sounds such as like percussion sound. So without and with. You know, it's really subtle, but that subtle sound can change with a big difference. And I use this Goldforce, which is ranges the sound in real time automatically, so the sound is produced clearer. So without. With. And Sooth 2, this one reduces the resonance of the particular sound, so this also makes the sound clearer. The resonance is mainly on mid frequency, so I focus on mid frequency range. So without, with. You can hear the brass comes front. And this you can hear only this resonance sound as well. Roughly. Very subtle, but still it works, as you can hear just before. And I used Imager to make sound broad, wider. can hear the difference. And lastly, I use limiter. This one just increase just 0.1. The dynamic of the sound isn't affected. So it's kind of like combined like compressor, but as a final plugin to finish the whole master. And meter. As you can see, reference level is -9, but I know the standard of film sound should be -23 LUFS. But this is the trailer music, and this is showing my work, so I set to -9 dB with some space, like 1 dB for dialogue and sound effect afterwards. And with so far this one how I made music, including mixing for only this music piece. So now sound effect part, and as I told you, I use Ableton, and this DAW is more intuitive and easier for sound design, particularly editing audio file on straight. And I tried using Ableton sampling plugin, but some didn't go well. But yeah, before start, let's listen to the whole sound effects first, like we did for music. So as you can see, there are kind of lots of audio file for sound effects, like over 60, except for the group track. I might not show the whole things, but let's see. And as you can see, I arranged the tracks, even though the sound is pretty similar. I put sound effects on intro on the top and the last tracks for ending. So it goes like a stairs. And when we take a look, the metal footstep. So this part is the footstep with, as you can see, the soldiers are wearing metal armors. Because of that, I created the combination of metal material and footsteps. So when you listen to it, yeah, this sound and the combination of these sounds. As you can see, it's modified version. So when I removed everything to listen to the original sound, it sounds good like this for the metal sound. Oh, sorry. So it's kind of like key sound, but when you look at EQ, low frequencies are boost and high frequencies are cut, because to enhance the low frequency, so the sounds could be a metal boots footstep. Without these, it goes like this. coming in, it goes like this. And I also wanted the sound to be lower pitch, so little altar boy can decrease the pitch and some performance as well. So the sound goes like this. And I also, the boots sound, original sound is like this. It's completely different footstep sound, but when I turn on the whole sound, it goes like this. So very different. These parts also are low frequency and high frequencies are low frequency is boosted and high frequencies are cut. And different to the previous one, I cut the mid frequency as well because the sound's more clear, less muddy. So yeah, like this. And I put reverb as well because the space itself is huge, not like just stepping on like small room. So I add the reverb as well. It's not enough, but I thought that the reverb, after combining the whole footsteps with metal sound, that one combined sound also needs reverb. So I just put reverb slightly. And this footstep sounds with reverb still too much high frequency sound. So I cut the high frequency again. Yeah, so like this, and then the final result is like this. But as we saw in music track, they also need to be combined, so that's why I used the bus compressor, the same one, and didn't change much. And then including reverb, like this. And go to the logo sound. As you can see, not many audio effects are used for this one. Like this, some of the sounds are use the original sampling sound as well with slight change like this. Even EQ also not used much, but they are originally one, but I cut it so that it comes on the right timing. So it's something like snare, like high frequency could be here. I got that as well. But particularly the sound is pitched down to -5. So regionally the sound goes like this. So the afterwards, this part is also -5 pitch. So that's why the pitch suddenly changed. But as you can see, the sound is completely different when changing only pitch. And from now on, it's gonna start the preparation scenes for fight, like after this logo. So the first scene is gonna come out with this devastated city scene. It's kind of like not peaceful moments. So I put thunder sound, kind of emphasize that atmosphere. And there's flames falling to the ground, which I used the thunder sound for it. And after that, there's a flight scene. Oh, before I say that, I didn't change anything. I just reduced the gain for this thunder sound. On the flight scene, First one is only shows the one pilot closely, and the second ones, the machines are more than one and further than the first one. I differentiate these two scenes. So first one goes like this, and the second one goes like this. The level is smaller, and I also used flanger, which is using automation. So the first one doesn't use flanger, and the second one I used flanger so that the differentiate these two scenes in one same audio file. And these flight sounds originated from this thunder sound, and I kind of maximize it with the gain and reduce gain again. Freeze the audio files because of too much CPU used. So I literally sound designed for that. As you can see, these machines are exploded, so I added the explosion sound with combining these two sounds and this. So this sound originated from this sound, but I cut them so that in the video they are exploded separately, so I cut it into 3 parts. They are same sound, but still it's worthy to separate it. And as you can hear, the sound itself is with high frequency rather than low frequency, so I wanted to add more low frequency, so I added the sound, but decreased the pitch, increased the gain, and by using transient shaper, it's called like attack sound. Basically, it's emphasize the explosion sound, and also the original sound is this acoustic sound, taiko or like low tone sound, and it also contains a reverb itself, so I needed to remove the reverb sound for clear sound design, so I used the reverb from RX11. If it is not with it, sound like that, but if the sound less than before. As I said, reducing mid frequency so that the sound can be clearer, and the high frequency as the explosion contains high frequency as well, and it doesn't have clear high frequency sound, so I just boosted slightly. The whole thing for that scene sounds like this. And also there's reverb, so you can hear the sound with kind of reverb sound. If it's not with it, the explosion sound will be like this. It's caught instantly, but with it, and you can hear some slightly reverb sound. And after that, the scene is also changed, like this alien style ship something. So it's just reminded me kind of electricity sound. I just used the sample without any change. As you can see, there's a kind of small sparkles twice, these two. So I separated to 2, which this one is louder and the latter one is smaller volume, which is like that. Of course, use reverb inside as well, like that. And move on to the next, starting from this scene, because the scene I just showed you, there's no sound at all. Any movements, there's nothing, movements or just wind sound or something like that. They all not anywhere in these scenes. So yeah, just starting from here, Doctor Strange is walking, and as you can see, the floor is kind of concrete or something hard material. So I just use a concrete. I guess he wore the boots, so I thought it could be right for that situation. I even didn't change the pitch. I just, the original sound itself is quite long, so I just cut it and then placed them with reverb, which, as you can see, the space is larger. And here, this one is use the same sample thunder sound because the scene itself kind of like separate into two, which and also looks like kind of lightning. So I just put the same thunder sound in it. Didn't change at all. Just use the sample and move on to the next. Yep, the Spider-Man is walking, and as you can see, it's a rooftop. It's supposed to be he's not wearing boots or shoes at all, so I imagined he's just walking on barefoot, so just use the barefoot sound. Slightly like wet on the wet floor to exaggerate he's walking, and Doctor Strange is wearing cloak and the clock is fluttering on the sky. So I put the sound which I used on the top, the flight sound. I kind of like trying to describe the fluttering sound. I didn't change much. Just cut the low frequency because it's really close to the camera. We was sometimes can't hear the low frequency well when it's too close, so I just remove the low frequency sound. And there's, as you can see, the scene is kind of like using psychokinesis. When you hear that, it's combining the two sounds. One is this sound, and the other one is. It just reminds me of Pokemon somehow. There's some Pokemons using psychokinesis, and I wanted to describe some ultrasonic sound, but we can't hear in real life. So I'm just trying to use some high pitched sound. And as it goes up, so the sound also gradually volume up. And he's thrown, so just sound is put, and then when he's thrown, his hits against the bricks, and the bricks are fallen. So I combine these two sounds, bus compressor as usual. So hitting sound, which I used previously in the other scene for explosion, and stone is fallen. This one I slightly changed like that to boost between 1 and 3 kilohertz sounds. The sound between them is the most easy to listen because it's kind of similar to normal people voice frequency. So I exaggerate that and then decrease some kind of sharp sound on 5 kilohertz so that more softer. with it and without it. Just slightly, but I think for me it's clearer to hear. And next scene after next year, 3 people are walking, so I separated 3 parts. It's masked when the dialogue and music are combined, for example.
And we stayed apart. And we stayed apart.
Yeah, like that. So I just use like this. And on the next scene, the flight scene, so here's the flight. Using fade in so that the flight is coming closely. And moving to the next. Sorry, I'm not sure what his name is, but he's using laser. So I made a laser. I used Serum, which is one of synthesizer, like that, trying to sound. I used multi-band compressor so that the sound is more sharp. So without it, then like that, but with it, the high frequencies are boosted somehow. And as attack sound is slightly increased, so without it, oh, sorry, to hear the big loud sound, something like that. But when I increase the attack sound, then it's more softer and less impactful. I created with the sine wave, with LFO, and without LFO, it's gonna be very similar, but I just changed the tune with these envelopes. Just find the exact timing of the high frequency down to low frequency sound. As you can hear, just adjust the perfect timing of the speed of decay, like that. And I combined with 3 parts. This one is duplicated one because it's too big audio file with several audio effects. As you can hear, there's kind of lots of resonance of the high pitch resonance. So I put a plugin called Reso so that the sound could cut that specific resonance. I also use Sith2, which I told in music track, which reduces the resonance. But this one is more useful for wide range of frequencies. However, this plugin Reso, it's also cover wide range, but it's more specific for high frequency, can be modified. So I code like that as well. So as a result, it comes like that. It's still high frequency, yet when it's coming with voice and soundtrack, it's covered like that. And I tried to use this one, which I made it with the flight sound. When the laser is longer, I guess it's not useful enough in this scene, so I just muted it. Scene. He's hit by the laser. So, so it's footsteps, and this one is when people are hit by the wall. It is also combined in with two sounds. One is locker, the kind of like that, and the other one is the slamming door sound like that. So combined, it's kind of like slightly delayed so that when they are hit with this wall sound and slam is included, a kind of delay sound of this when the door is kind of vibrated when people are frost. So I just trying to describe it. And very similar stone sound, which I used previously for describing psychokinesis, and especially I used to boost the high frequency. I used particular reverb called plate reverb, which is recorded in plate material space. So it's more like metallic, not warm but cold vibe in that reverb. And to emphasize that stones are shredded, I boosted the high frequency and reduced low end so that focus on this broken sound. And punch, just like this, they are combined with three sounds. One is that, this one from kick sound, regional sound is this, but I changed it using fade in, so the sound is changed. And this one slightly pitch up, and the other one is also kick sound, but the original is this one. So yeah, this one is also fade in, as you can see here, and pitch as well. This time is decreased. As you can see, he's just punching without hammer. So trying to describe the hand sound with this cloth like this. And this one, which I created using EQ with it, without it, like metal sound, but I also pitched up, so regionally. And if I turn off the EQ as well, this slightly metallic bowl sound, but when I modified it, the sound comes like this. So in total, that's the next. He's talking, staring. The fire's on behind them, but it's not close and it's further distance, so the volume is very small. And included the footsteps. As his hair shows it's windy, So I put some wind sound, which originally is wind sound. So I put in it, including the flames sound, which I try to describe these lights. And this transition sound is combined with these two. One is this, and the other one is. I reversed it originally. Sound should be like that. I reversed it like that, and there's a flame, so I put, this flame. Audio plugins are not used, and this explosion again, and this flame is the clap sound, but I redesigned with fade in without fade. It's also pitched down quite a lot, but originally the sound is like that. So when it's pitched like that, but I reversed it. The next scene of this neural signals, and people are tumbling when it's explosion, so I also put an explosion in it, but reverse as a reverse version like that. And this scene describe the flames, and this one originally like this electricity sound. I cut them and pitch down as well, with Haas switches, can hear on both left and right, can hear not in the mid but left and right, because it's a flame like here and there. And describe these three pots with this electricity. Black Panther is walking. If it has grass or only rock, so not sure, but I'm trying to find the best one with the reverb sound, but without reverb. Original sound is the shoes are different to the previous scenes, and the scene also not on concrete, so I changed to the other footstep audio file with the reverb sound. And fighting scene, so I try to describe the laser. As you can hear, this is one shot and three shots in a row, so I use with the one I made previously. I put them here, and the sound is also explosion again, footsteps with grass, and describes the floor with the grass, footstep. And this scene, as you can see, the original sound is this high pitched sound, sorry. It's reversed, but pitched down, as you can hear a lot. And then it's too high frequency, so I just cut this range, and there's resonance slightly, so I try to remove it, reduce it, so it goes like that. And there's a sizzling sound when it's touched. Just reminded me of meat sizzling. So regional sound is like this. But change the EQ, emphasize the high frequency and reduce these specific areas, and try to emphasize the sizzling sounds. I use saturator without. The low frequency is improved using with this, and again I use EQ again so that too much resonated sound can be reduced. And the whole process goes like this. The explosion again, but reversed. And EQ also used like this. Added bass again to describe that explosion more intense. His footstep with his boots. Obviously, it's not big enough for as a detail. And just imagine Hulk is usually just barefoot rather than wearing boots. So I used barefoot sound on a hard ground like that. These three sounds are combined with the one I used before. And as you can see, it's too high frequency. So reduce resonance, try to reduce high frequencies as much as possible so that the sound is too harsh. That flight sound, because as you can see, the flight and this kind of wormhole, it wouldn't have any sound, but still it's a sound design. So just trying to add it. And the circle, it looks like it's slow here, but as you can see, when we look at from the front, it looks faster than the previous one. So using LFO, this part, when you see this, it's getting faster. So, and also this is noise sound. So when it's not with LFO, sounds like that, but when it's with it, like that. EQ, trying to emphasize the low frequency, but cut the high frequency. Like that. And let's move on. Explosion again. He's stepping people. So with the explosion sound, fight again. As we've seen a lot. And lastly, high pitch again. Trying to reduce slightly performance. Something's traveling, you know. And EQ, cut the high frequency so that we could hear that's something scratching sound. It's let's see the original sound. I think so like this. That's the last one, which is the final finale. Boom. It's just original sound is the sound didn't change much, but it's combined with the percussion sound in the music, so it's not too strong. And it's also the last one without any music, so it's not big enough. This one's kind of like condiment to exaggerate specific frequency. As the last one, this one is the total audio track combining background sound and sound design, voice as well, and the whole thing. And I used DAW called Reaper, which is another DAW. It's more focused on binaural audio, such as 5.1, 7.1, etc., and more like 3D sound. As I start from the voice, its dialogue, I just checked like this because, as you can see, as it's the voice to make clear sound when we hear it, then
He wants to rule everything. Then he'll have to go through all of us. We will.
like this part. So when it's off, the sound goes like this.
He wants to rule everything. Then he'll have to go through all of us. We will fight for every life.
They've
Very subtle, but still it could give the dialogue clearer than before. Even it will work with music and sound design because to make the voice clearer, even though it has masked by the other sounds, and improved around 800 hertz. So as you can see, the whole voices are for man rather than women. The man voice is lower than women. So this part, like 800 hertz to 2 kilohertz, is the most easy frequency to listen. So I boost slightly when it goes off.
He wants to rule everything. Then he'll have to go through all of us. We will fight for every life.
they've tried.
So yeah, and nothing much for this dialogue because it will definitely arranged already by the other sound design from the original track. So yeah, and let me show sound design. So that one is the whole process combined in one audio track. As you saw in the previous sound design part, I didn't arrange them the whole audio signals in one track. So I did here, and as I told you in music track, I used Sooth 2 because I wanted to reduce resonance in wide range, so I didn't use Reso. So when it goes on, so yeah, without it, very slightly, but still it's gonna work when it's combined with the background sound and voice. And then I use Golf Force, as I told you in music track as well. It's just arrange the whole sound in real time.
Control them all.
So let me show you just only this sound. Yeah, like that. This one is also slightly changed because in master, when you change a lot, then the sound is affected very much than you thought. So I just adjust them slightly, and the whole process combining background music and sound design is integrated into one group track called sound. As I told several times, I use this bus compressor and then just reduce the mix amount. If it is too tight, it could be kind of muddy and disturbing each other. And soothe again because the background music and sound design all together again. So even though I use soothe in music and sound design individually, when it's combined, some resonance could be appeared.
One world.
Let me just try to do somewhere clarifying here.
Avengers, but now we must stand together. Avengers, but now we must stand
It's
together.
only with Soothe 2, the sound will be this.
Avengers, but now we must stand together.
I use sidechain for the background music because the sound design should appear more, because this video is focused on how I did for the sound design, although music information is also included. So sidechain on this Soothe 2, and then I use multi-band compressor. As you can see, the low frequency compressed, high frequency compressed, but mid frequency is expanded rather than compressed because the richness is weaker than the other frequency range. So I just expanded this area. Low frequency could make the sound muddy and disturbing the other frequency easily as well. So I use compress just slightly, and high frequency to make it hard so that it could appear to the front of the soundscape. So with and without could be like this.
Avengers, but now we must stand together. Avengers, but now we must stand together.
As you can see, the mid range is kind of like improved and boosted. Even the voice as well. And I would say it's because of the resonance of the mid range. So the next one, I use Golfers again, this one in the group track.
Avengers, but now we must stand together. Avengers, but now we must stand together. Avengers, but now we must stand together.
Very subtle, but still it's in real time modification plugin. So yeah, and as a master track, I just try to gain up only 1 dB because otherwise the dynamic of the whole signal process will be bad. So just did slightly and transparent mode so that the sound could be not exaggerated but clear. So not too different to be honest.
Avengers, but now we must stand together. Avengers, but now we must stand together. Avengers.
Yeah, not much. One of the reason I use this is to put the limitation for the meter. As you can see, if it is turned off, the level of the sounds could be too small or too loud in a specific moment. And that's kind of like the range of the sound. As you can see, this the background music is bigger here, so I will show you.
To rule everything, then he'll have to go through all of us. We will fight for every life.
They've tried to stop me before, and they all failed.
If we want to defeat Doom, we
So basically, the average of the sound should be 0, and the maximum of specific moments less than plus 3 dB. So I've put that kind of range between these -3 to 3.
To rule everything, then he'll have to go through all of us. We will fight for every life.
They've tried to stop me before, and they all failed.
If it is turned off,
To rule everything, then he'll have to go through all of us. We will fight for every life.
They've tried to stop me before, and they all failed.
if we want to defeat Doom, we should think like him.
so yeah, simply that's all, and hopefully it works to introduce how I made for this music, sound design, and mix and master for the whole trailer sound. Thank you very much for watching.